In this video, we're going to talk about how you can make up to $100,000.
I mean, we have 5 bedrooms in Beaverton that are doing $100,000 a year in rental revenue
on short-term investments here in Portland, Oregon. So stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Jackson Ray Wilkey with the Real Agent Now Group right here in the Portland, Oregon Metro in Southwest Washington. If this is your first time to this channel, you want to know everything about working, eating, sleeping, playing, buying, and investing here in Portland, Oregon, then start now by subscribing to this channel. Tap that little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. We've had 15 tours in the last month alone of people who have called us, and we are showing them around these different neighborhoods and areas, and we absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking about moving or relocating here to the Portland, Oregon, Southwest Washington market, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send the pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving and investing in Portland, Oregon. All right, so we have so many people who are moving here, and a lot of them are wanting to find some investment properties and some investment opportunities. And we literally formed the greatest investment team that you can find. We teamed up with a company called iTrip. Now, Corey and Ryan are amazing at what they do, and they've built a business surrounded by short-term rentals. And when you think of short-term rentals, you think of beach getaways and wine country getaways, mountain getaways. I will let you know that actually the best investments are right here in the Portland Metro and actually in the suburbs of Portland, close. Jesse got with our absolute rock star short-term investing team who's absolutely crushing it here in the Portland market, getting multiple clients, anywhere from 60, 70, even over $100,000 a year of gross cash flow. That is absolutely crazy. So if you want to make a lot of money on your investment and not just having its mortgage paid and covered each month, then you're gonna want to watch this entire video, and you're gonna want to give us a call so we can find your next investment. So let's get into the video right now.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Jesse Dow with the Real Agent Now Group, and I'm here today to talk to you about why it's super important to invest in short-term real estate right here in Portland, Oregon. And I'm here today with my main man,
Ryan Tigner
and Corey Tigner
with iTrip Vacations.
Guys, we get so many questions what it's like to invest in short-term real estate here in the Portland, Oregon metro area that I've decided today to bring on Corey and Ryan with iTrip Vacations to talk to you about what it's like to maximize your dollars right here in the Portland metro markets. So one of the main questions that we get, how does someone go about starting a short-term rental here in Portland, Oregon?
Number one thing is you got to find a good realtor. We work very closely with Jesse. He's one of the best in helping find those perfect property locations based on different criteria for short-term rental and maximizing your ROI. Next, you got to look at what the best location is based on the needs that you're looking for. Are you somebody that wants to utilize your property to come and visit and stay in Portland every once in a while? Or are you looking at just a pure investment property to maximize the revenue dollars? Navigating the different regulations in those areas and making sure that it fits the criteria you're looking for is something that we're experts at, and Jesse is amazing at finding those properties. Once Jesse finds a great property fit for the client, we work a pro forma up that will detail out the revenue numbers that we can project that will hit with that type of property. We tour the property with Jesse to make sure everything looks good, that it's hitting all those marks of a short-term rental that we need in terms of how many can it sleep, does it have good accommodations, all these different things that really help drive revenue.
One of the key pieces we see for any successful short-term rental property is a combination of the pictures, some professionally done, and interior design. And we work with an impressive team of interior designers to help us with many of our properties.
The number one thing when somebody is booking is that they're going to convert on is those photos and how good they look. So our interior designers do amazing at the decor aspect and going that extra mile to make it really feel like a comfortable place. And then hitting all those amenities that make somebody feel like they're in a vacation, or what the picture of a vacation, maybe putting a fire pit in the backyard, or a ping pong table in the garage, or a foosball table somewhere. So our interior designers do really well at utilizing the space in the right way so that people click to book that stay. We just did our quarterly review with the VRBO, which is the HomeAway group, and they showed that our properties have a 5 times higher conversion rate, and a lot of that is due to the interior designers and the photography of the property.
When you're getting started, it's definitely all about identifying the right property. It's about working up that pro forma, next taking those right steps and getting that investment property into your portfolio, working with the right interior designer, the professional photographers that we work with to make sure that those viewers that are looking at your property, whether it's on VO or BO, Airbnb, are choosing yours over any other rental out there. So that's what we work with iTrip, is to make sure that your home is being represented at the highest level possible. And you guys are also casting this out onto every single short-term rental platform, right?
We're on over 85 different platforms that we cast this out on.
Perfect. So it's not like just putting it on Airbnb or VRBO. They're like an upstream company that will make sure that your investment is trickled down onto every single website out there to get you the most dollars possible. Speaking of most dollars possible, what's the benefit of choosing a short-term rental property over a long-term property?
Yeah, so there's many benefits to doing a short-term rental investment versus a long-term rental. Long-term, you have to worry about finding the right tenant. You have to worry, are they going to pay their rent? If they don't, you have to go through an eviction process. As things grow, you can only raise the rent a certain amount. Oregon just passed a state law that there's actually a percentage you can't raise the rent over. And then wear and tear on the property with somebody living in there full time. I mean, what does your asset look like? Short-term rental, you avoid all of those things. So with our software and being on over 85 different channels, we're getting bookings nonstop and we're booked out all these different months. So you never have to worry about is there going to be rent this month? People are booking it and they're paying 30 days in advance. They don't walk in the door until they're paid in full. Wear and tear on the property is a lot less too, because these people are coming for, let's say, a weekend to visit the Portland area. So our cleaners are in there on a Wednesday or Thursday cleaning it, getting ready for the guests. So it's in that hotel-like condition. The guests stay Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. When they check out, our cleaners are right back in there, bringing that asset back to a brand new light condition. The wear and tear is not a lot because during the day they're out and about. They came here to visit Portland or see family, or sometimes it's contractors booking it and they're going to work at Intel or Nike. They're usually using it just as a great place to stay. So the wear and tear on the property is substantially less, and you have our cleaners in there 2-3 times a week, making sure that asset's in perfect condition.
And a lot of homeowners like the flexibility of when they have their own friends and family coming into town. Place to stay, not at the hotels, things they can, enjoy their own asset while it's generating income for them.
There's definitely some benefits over short-term versus long-term. We also just really need to understand what your goals, your long-term strategies are for, and what you want your asset to be doing for you while you're not here. So that's what we're here for. We're here to make sure that you're dialed in and doing the best thing that's right for what you want to be doing. So speaking of, the rules and the regulations of short-term versus long-term, which obviously we know that Portland can be very stringent with different laws and regulations with long-term rentals and short-term rentals. So why don't you kind of touch base with us and talk to us a little bit about, the different types of permitting that you might need for a short-term rental in Portland versus maybe somewhere out in Washington County by Nike or Intel, and also like what the benefits are of maybe going outside in the suburbs or outliers of Portland versus renting right in the city. Because I know personally that, doing any type of rental, whether it's long-term or short-term in Portland proper, can kind of be a pain.
Portland, just like a lot of the major cities in the United States, has put in certain restrictions on short-term rental just to really benefit the long-term rental market. They want to make sure that people have a place to live in the city. Otherwise, short-term rental, obviously, you can make a lot more money, and so everybody would short-term rent and nobody would long-term rent anymore. So to prevent that, cities like Portland have put in a thing where there has to be a long-term tenant living on the premises. So if you have a short-term rental in Portland, there's 2 different type of permits, but both of them require that somebody lives on the premises long-term. So, and we help investors navigate that. Sometimes people want to buy an investment property that's, 1 to 5 bedrooms, but also has an ADU, and you put a long-term tenant in the ADU, and then you short-term rent out the main part to make a good ROI. But what that has also done is it's pushed a lot of the short-term rental business into the suburbs of Portland, which works great for investors because a lot of the suburbs a little bit further out from the city, you can get a lot more house for your money. So getting those bigger, 4 or 5 bedroom homes that sleep more people but are only 10-15 minutes away from the city center can be great investments and produce a great ROI. We work very closely with Jesse in finding those areas so we can clearly explain what those regulations are in whether it's the city center of Portland or going out, let's say, to Washington County, where short-term rental is 100% legal and can be done anywhere. But there's then certain little pockets of cities that have their own restrictions, and we help navigate that.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of rules and regulations that go into, buying a short-term rental property. And that's what we're here for, is to be your high-level expert, because everything's going to be on a buy basis scenario, whether it's in Portland, Beaverton, Aloha, Albany, Corvallis. It doesn't really matter. We need to be looking at these specific homes in areas and maybe even neighborhoods, because the HOA might prevent us from doing a short-term rental, where you might go 1 block over to another HOA and they might be okay with it. In your personal opinion, what do you think are some of the best locations in the Portland market if you were looking to invest in a short-term rental property?
We find unincorporated Washington County is to be one of the best areas, especially in the band that sits right next to Multnomah County, since you're closest to downtown Portland.
Washington County is great. I mean, you have Intel corporate headquarters out there, Nike corporate headquarters out there. So you have tens of thousands of employees who all have extended family that are coming to visit for birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, weddings, baby showers. I mean, all the different things that families are coming to visit. And when they do, they'd much rather have 4 or 5 bedrooms with a shared kitchen, living room, dining room, hot tub, ping pong table. And it's actually cheaper than getting 5 separate hotel rooms. So it's a much friendlier stay.
So it's kind of surprising to think that, unincorporated Washington County, which is 97229 and 225 would be some amazing places to rent, which is a very big benefit to, our viewers and people all around the country, because everybody always talks about living right next to Nike, Intel, Tektronix, Columbia, so much great commerce out on the west side where this Washington County is located that we can find you an amazing investment. And another great thing is, the property values out there are significantly lower than downtown Portland or inner east sides where there's so many rules and regulations. So this is a huge benefit to all of our investors that are looking for short-term rentals. At the end of the day, it's always about the money. We only work to make money. I do it for smiles, but it's all good. What do you think is the top benefits of owning a short-term versus long-term, and what is that ROI?
Number one benefit of short-term is you make more money. Your rental produces substantially more money than a long-term investment. Long-term, right now, you're lucky if you can break even on the rent when you're buying a rental property. Short-term, you're going to cash flow. You're going to be making money right away. We have properties that are going in that $500,000-$600,000 range that are doing anywhere between $70,000 to $80,000 a year in rental income. We have some of the bigger properties that do more than that. I mean, we have 5 bedrooms in Beaverton that are doing $100,000 a year in rental revenue. So the ROI is really good for the short-term rental route. Not only that, you don't have to worry about finding a long-term tenant. You don't have to chase down rent. It's being paid in advance. Wear and tear on the property is a lot less. It's a win-win-win in every way.
There's a lot of great benefits to doing short-term versus long-term, and so many, financial gains to be made in these properties. It's still an untapped market. I was talking to Ryan and Corey earlier, and they were saying that 3 years ago there was only one, bigger home that housed 16 people on the market, and today we have 16 out in Washington County. But we're still getting more rent stay than we ever have, and the occupancy rate is significantly higher. So there's so much of a higher demand for these short-term rentals today than there was 3 years ago, and we have more. So there's still so much more room to grow in the future. And as you know, as a consumer, you always like looking at those Airbnbs, VRBO homes out there and short-term rentals when you're traveling, because it is so much more convenient. It feels more like a home when you are traveling. Who are the type of people that are actually renting these short-term rentals?
We're always surprised at the different types of people renting our properties. And when I say types, I mean they're coming for any number of reasons.
Sports teams. We get a lot of high school teams that are traveling around, different corporate events that are coming, a yoga retreat, whatever it may be, just anything where a group of people can be more comfortable in a 4 or 5 bedroom house than 3 or 4 different hotel rooms. And as Jesse was saying, 3-4 years ago when we were managing this, there was one place that slept, maybe 15, 16 people in the whole area. Now there's about 16 of them, and we manage more than half of them. And what do we see? The demand is increasing. We can't even keep up with demand. Our places are booked every single weekend. Airbnb is projecting that over the next 10 years, demand is going to double. A lot of it, think of it like Uber. How many people are calling a taxi company when they need a ride? It's very few. Everybody's using their Uber. And our generation and younger, a lot of them, the first place they check, they don't call a hotel. They look at their Airbnb app, and they're looking for that short-term rental. It's much more comfortable, and it's a better value. So it's cheaper than a hotel, and you're more comfortable.
We definitely know that, these are definitely people that are being very respectful of your home. It's usually families, traveling sport teams. Families want to get together because they have, their in-laws coming from out of town. They want to put them somewhere comfortable. So
yeah, the great thing with our professional service is we screen a lot of our guests. We do a lot of things to prevent that exact scenario. So we don't rent to people under 25. We don't do 1-night minimums, so people are looking for that party spot. We do 2-3 night minimums. We only rent to people that have good reviews. So we're definitely looking at who's checking into our assets, because the last thing we want to deal with is a party scenario or our homeowners. So we utilize technology in many ways to make sure that stuff never happens in our properties.
All right, so after watching that entire video, I hope you got a great understanding of the power and potential of short-term investing here in Portland, Oregon. These guys have spent $500,000 on building their business to get their clients the top money, period. And it is working incredibly well. And this is our team. So Jesse and I help find the property, then we run it through all their technology and all of their platforms to make sure it is the absolute best for cash flow. Short-term rentals is the market you need to be in. You can do it however you want, and we can help with both ways if you want to go long-term or short-term, but short-term is definitely where you can cash flow immediately. And if you're even thinking about moving, relocating, or investing here in the Portland, Oregon metro, then you've got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send the pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving to Portland, Oregon. And until the next video, we'll catch you later.